what keeps me awake at night right now is the threat of a really bad fire season. And California is drier ever than before. We didn't have a really wet winter. And my husband and I have been working feverishly over a number of years to protect our property. So have spent most of the money that I make as a composer hardening the property, as they say, which is thinning out the forest. And we put a new stucco exterior on the main house to make it resistant if fires should come to our door. And we have many tanks of water all over. We just put in a big pond, and it's endless. And I've learned how to chip uh, dead branches and wood, and use a string trimmer. I mean, it's just ongoing. You pick up skills as you need to when you finish the course on what they call prescribed fire burns. And we're out of prescribed fire burn season now, but this is intentional fires, what the Native Americans used to do. And it keeps the forest healthy, but it also makes it more difficult for fire to become truly destructive. So we are constantly in planning mode, and this is what keeps us up at night. As far as the role of the artist in being part of the conversation about the climate change, we're very good at performing and telling these stories. And of course, we can do that more. We can commission works that are about the climate crisis and try to get away from, I think, a couple of generation of works that were very well intentioned, but perhaps not taken seriously. If you write another symphony that sounds like the rainforest, it's almost a cliche that you're going to hear the chirping of insects and the rustling of the wind and the dewdrop dance. It's just, so people roll their eyes and they don't take it seriously. And I think it takes time, just as it takes time to become an environmentalist and to really accept that we have all played a role in our lifestyle choices in getting to this dangerous place. It takes time to find your angle in about how you're going to tell your stories. So I started a project at the Academy called Composing Earth, which is one of our commissioning projects. That's a 2-year commitment on the part of our alums that choose to join it. We just started it this year. The whole first year, my alums meet once a month, and there are assigned books about the climate crisis and articles, documentaries that we watch, and it's kind of like a book club. And the group of 10 composers and I and a couple of my staff people, we meet and we just talk. And each week, a composer on Wednesday, so we get one today, sends out a little letter or a little update about what they've been doing, what have they been reading, something they think will be interesting to the rest of the group. And I encourage them to read cli-fi, which is climate fiction, from our colleagues in the area of literature about how they are often using a dystopian, but sometimes a utopian model for where we can go. So this way they have a whole year gestation to find an angle in. And one of my composers is going to write about the fact that she comes from a mining lineage in her family, and she's going to write about the miners. And another composer who's Iranian is going to pull on 9th century Persian text that predicted the climate crisis. I mean, it's pretty amazing how much knowledge we already have and how much life experience we already have that's pertinent. And I think this is what's going to be compelling and moving for an audience. The other part, of course, of the coin is our lifestyle. And I would even say that at this early point, this is the most important part to focus on, which is the day of the jet setting artist has to end. That has to be over. And I say that somebody that got on a plane a lot. I don't like flying, but I did it. And we have to look at other models for being. And this is where people feel like a deer in the headlights. Once you start thinking about not being able to travel for your gigs, people stop thinking through to the solution. And it's understandable. It seems completely insurmountable to have a career without being able to fly everywhere. But there is no music on a dead planet. And there is an organization by that name. And so we want to model at the Academy different ways in which the carbon footprint could be much more minimal than it is now, and yet go deeper in our music making and making connections within the musical community, but the non-musical community as well. According to what our in-house scientist says, and some others that I've talked with, we have all the technology that we need today to go green. We have all the technology, we have all the money, we have everything, we have all the knowledge that we need. We just don't have the will